Oh, okay. I'm getting nerves. Why am I getting nerves? Stop being so nervous. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I don't really know what I'm doing. It's kind of more so like making a video based on a suggestion that someone made on a short that I uploaded a few days ago. So today I have a house idea that I want to work on, and I figured I could share my I guess creative process as to like how I come up with these builds, because I know that some of you have asked for tutorials or like how do I do certain things. So I kind of more so this is kind of like a unedited version as to how I end up creating the shorts that I create. So currently I am in a completely unedited island. This is completely natural gen. If you would like the seed, that's the seed. And I am at this location about 60,000 blocks away from spawn. I don't know why I'm that far. Oh, wait, I remember why. It's actually because of that island over there. There's a mushroom island over there, which is where I did the most recent short I've done. Yeah, and it also kind of fits the theme of the comment today, which somebody mentioned on the video for that structure over there. They said, make a house but limit yourself to only oak, glass, and cobblestone, or make a castle on the coastline. So I'm gonna go with the challenge aspect of this comment. So I'm gonna do oak, glass, and only cobblestone. I'm assuming he means the blocks and its variants. So I'm gonna stick to that, and I'm also gonna incorporate some decorative blocks such as pots, large pots, and a couple leaf blocks and some grass blocks. I think I'm gonna set the rule right now, whereas I'm not gonna use any extra blocks other than the ones described in this comment to create the structure itself, but I can do it to add decoration, if that makes sense. I'm gonna start with a pallet. So I'm assuming he also means the log blocks, so, and the planks. If I didn't use the other detailing blocks, I think it would be a little too limited to at least make this look nice, in my opinion. Wow, okay, I didn't realize that cobblestone had such a limiting selection of blocks. When he means glass, I'm gonna assume it is just glass panes and regular glass. I thought it was called something else. So to start, I'm just gonna flatten this out. You know what, I'm just gonna do it by hand. I also have world edit enabled. If you don't know what world edit is, it's pretty much a mod that allows you to like pretty much create anything you want in terms of like it lets you fill in areas, create walls and whatnot. I'm sure most of you already know what it is, so I'm not going to keep rambling about it. So I'm going to start with a general floor plan. So I'm going to let's see, I kind of want a small porch, and even one at that. So I'm going to do a 3x3, and then is this making sense? Wait, hold on. And then, so this is going to be a porch, and then there's a little gap so that I can put beams here. And then this is going to be the living space. So I want a staircase area because I don't want to have to do a ladder in this house, because I personally, like, ladders aren't like too big of a deal, but like I don't personally like ladders because they look a bit too basic in my opinion. I prefer like a full-on set of stairs. Also, I'm using these logs because they're easier to figure out their direction rather than the normal ones. But obviously, if you were making this in survival, you could use the normal ones. But also, this isn't too much of a tutorial. It's kind of just a source of inspiration, let's say. I'm building, this is very confusing, but I'm building with the one block, so that's why it looks like really messy. Here, I'm just going to build these pillars up, and then I'm going to build across. So this pillar kind of comes down here, so I'm actually going to do that as well here, just to keep a bit of the symmetry. So with that done, we have a general frame of the first floor. Actually, now that I think about it, there needs to be an extra pillar here, because that's where the other pillar in the front goes, so that gives us some symmetry there. So I want this to be a 2-floor house, but I'm not sure as to... I'm probably going to extend this like this, build another pillar here. Typically, a good tip of building frames for houses is that if there is going to be a corner or almost like a union, it is typically good to support that with a pillar. So like, especially in corners, you have two sets of logs coming in together. You can build a pillar here. And like, for example, I'm going to build a second floor here. This is going to become a corner here. So there goes a pillar goes below this. And I'm also going to include the sets of the staircase because this is going to have the stairs that go to the second floor, obviously. So once that's done, we have something that looks like this. I'm actually going to add an extra pillar here. This one's going to be a bit lower, I think, because this one's going to have a bit of a slanted roof that goes into this roof here. So I'm actually going to replace these logs that I placed initially with planks because this is going to make up the walls. So yeah, I'm going to build these up to the normal height. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to incorporate. Actually, I do. I think cobblestone will likely be incorporated in the detail work and some of the roof. Okay, so I just finished the walls for the first and second floor. Currently, the house does not have a floor or a... Actually, it just doesn't have floors for the first and second floor. I think it's looking a bit like too simple right now with the shapes, so I'm gonna just world edit this and raise it. Just gonna do / move 1, oops, not 21, up, and then that way I can have foundation here. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut the corners here, add some slabs like that, and that helps a little bit. And we're gonna fix this like flat side because it kind of looks a little bit weird at the moment. But so yeah, now that that's done, I'm gonna work on the flooring. I don't want to do oak planks, so I'm actually gonna go with the stripped oak logs. It is kind of bothering me a little bit that like the floors aren't going to be a different type of wood, or at least like a different block. So I'm just going to work with like a different texture here just to make it look a bit nicer. In terms of the ceiling here, I'm actually going to continue this pattern because the floor and the floor above and the ceiling from the first floor are sharing the same block. So you'll see the same pattern. So for the roof, I'm going to go with cobblestone on the outer edge, almost like, I don't know what to call it, like the trim, I guess. And then that's what are these called? Gabled roofs, I believe they're called. And then I want to keep the depth of this section, so I'm just gonna go 1 block in. So in this case, I'm actually not sure what I want to do with this side because I thought that this roof was going to be a little bit higher. Not a fan of that. I think actually I might just leave it open and I might do a little design for it later on. It's just like, this is kind of the problems that happens. I don't necessarily pre-plan a lot of the things I do, so that's why it's a very inefficient process. I definitely suggest if you're going to build like anything really, like make sure you have a clear idea of like what you want and make sure the dimensions match up. Because in this case, had I planned this out, I would have put this a couple blocks taller so that I could do a sloped roof that matched up with the edge here. That doesn't mean it's going to turn out bad. It just means that I'm going to fix it in a different way. Actually, you know what? Can I do this? This is just me experimenting. I just had a idea which should give me another gabled roof in another direction, which gives it a bit more depth. Okay, so this is what I got going so far. I don't mind it actually. It doesn't look too bad. You know what? I'm gonna stick with it. If it looks bad later on, I can remove it, but I think I like the idea so far because it gives me just a little bit of an extra detail on the front. Okay, so now that I finished the frame, I'm just gonna fill this in with oak stairs. Okay, so this is what I have so far. I just filled in the roof section. So now I'm just gonna build the walls in. So I'm actually gonna fill this section with logs here. And then I'm just gonna fill this spot in. Actually don't, yeah. And then do it like that. Then you have nice roof section once again. And then I'm just going to do the same for this side, except for this side. Also, I know it looks a bit dark in here, but I will add windows in a second. It's just this is typically what I do. I build the outer structure and then I focus on window designs later on. I think I'm going to work on the windows first. So I'm just going to actually build this out because these walls were these logs were supposed to be put in place at the very beginning, but I also forgot. So typically with windows, I create this bit of depth because it helps. I don't know how to explain it. Like it makes it easier to like create windows. Okay, sorry about that. I got really focused right now trying to figure out a design for this. And I think this is kind of doing it for me. So I'm just gonna work on a window up here real quick. And I'm just gonna do a bit of a detail. Like so. Can I do trapdoors? Yeah, okay, I like that. I'm gonna do some grass in the windows like that, and then I'm gonna actually add those like that. That looks pretty good. So I'm gonna actually do trapdoors around the corners, like where the beams kind of meet the ground. There's a bit of an extra detail. A tip that I do for all my houses is that I come up with a design on a section of window, on a wall, and pretty much I use that template and almost copy paste it everywhere else. So if the window is a bit wider, then I'll add another section. So as you can see, this window is 2 blocks wide. So in this case, what I'll do is I'll put the logs, I'll put the stone like that, and then I'll build it up. And then I'll do almost the same design, but I'll adjust it for the size of the window. And then you have a very similar design on the wall. And then you just fill in the gaps with trapdoors, which, you know, makes it look nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna actually do this on all the windows really quick, just because I think the window designs are practically the most time-consuming part of any house that I typically make. So I'm just gonna work on that real quick, and then I'll give you a tour around the house to see all the different sizes of windows that I made. So I just finished the windows, and I've actually come to a very weird realization. So let me just show you around first, and then I'll show you what I mean. So I pretty much repeated the same design across all the windows. I even did the ones on the roof. So as you can see, all of these, I left this flat because this is where the stairwell is going to go. So I'm just going to leave that there. Yeah, I also did this one here. This one was kept open, flat, because also stairwell's going there. Same thing with this side. And I do have an idea of what I'm going to put here. But the issue that I'm encountering right now is that I just realized the first floor is 1 block below the porch out here. So I'm probably going to have to fix that right now. Yeah, that looks good. I think I'll just leave it like that. And then I'm just going to finish these windows, and I'm going to finish the entrance, and then I will be back. Okay, so I just finished the entrance. So I pretty much did the doorway here. I added the window here. And for the doorways, a good tip that I typically do is that I just build a simple door, and then I kind of build the same general pattern around it with, I guess, a little bit of an extra design. And I always add a button on the side for just that little bit of extra detail. I'm also going to add a lantern here. I'm just doing that right now because that almost that's like the whole design. So once that's done, you get to see the full thing and like what I really mean, I guess, what I really want to show you. Yeah, once that's done, I'm going to work on the porch right now. So what I want to do is see if I can raise this. So because I'm not liking just how flat this looks. So I'm actually going to get rid of those logs, and I'm going to just use regular planks like that. And that gives me a little bit more depth on the outside, gives this window a little more breathing room. In terms of this entrance, I'm gonna actually pull this away. And then I'm gonna do just some slabs like that. Oops, like that, maybe. Yeah, I like that. I could go with that. So as some final details, I'm pretty much going to add a trellis on the front and back, and I'm going to add a bit of a moss wall, I guess, or pretty much the same trellis here as well, like just to pretty much fill in these areas. And I'm going to add some lighting around the house. Pretty much what a trellis is, it's just a bunch of fences with like oak leaves hanging out of them, like so. I'm going to stick to oak leaves because technically they're part of the quote-unquote oak family. So I'm just going to use that because I am kind of cheating ever so slightly, but I think if I stick with oak leaves, it's not too bad. So for this back area, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to expand this section a bit so that I have a larger area to work with. And then I'm going to do just same idea, except I'm actually going to put a beam here, I think, and then I'm going to add trapdoor here and here. Actually, I kind of like the chest back there, like that. It's a little trash can, and then I'm just going to finish off with some slabs so that it's nice and rounded from the back. Gives it just a little bit, builds up the base a little bit more. And for the front, I mentioned that this side was a bit flat, so I'm just gonna build this out a bit. And I'm actually gonna add oak leaves here as well. So I'm gonna use fence gates at the top here, just because they help add a little bit more of detail. And a good tip that it's pretty much something that I figured out, and I'm sure a lot of people use it, but I haven't seen it too much online, is if you use cobblestone walls next to fence gates, it'll bring it one block down. And when you have an extra fence gate that isn't attached to a wall, you get this little cool, like, what's it called? Almost arch design with the fence gates. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite tips. Make sure to use it a lot in your builds because it looks very nice in my opinion. So I typically just do it like that, and then I cover it up from either side. And then I'm actually not going to do that corner, just leave it like that. And then you get a very nice arch. Lastly, for this porch section, I'm going to cheat once again a little bit, and I'm going to use a pot. This is a tip that I typically use. I actually mentioned this in another video that I did. If you guys haven't watched it, you can go watch that. It's a short. I don't remember how long ago I made it, but it has this tip, and it goes a little bit more into detail about how to do this. But it's very simple. You just take a decorated pot, you add a flower. You add a flower pot to the top, and then it pretty much becomes a large version of a normal pot, and then you can have a little plant. So with the lighting, I typically do on the corners of the roof like that, and then you get a very nice almost cottage like look to your house. So for the porch, I wanted to do something. I'm gonna use chains as an extension of the pot of the lanterns, so that way you can get a little nice design. The only reason I'm doing this, it's because I really wanted a hanging light from this. So I'm going to do one little extra thing just because I want to try it out. So I was really inspired actually by these lights because you can see them from this window. And I was hoping that because of that, I can do a wall here. And then I can add a window here with some slabs. And I'm going to take some slabs like that, and then it has a nice little detail to it. And I was going to do something else, one last thing. It's going to do a little design on the roof just so you can emphasize the lights. I think this is quite a lot of detail in my opinion. Obviously, if you had more blocks to work with, you could use different trapdoors, different fences, different flooring, and whatnot. The inside's a bit basic because of that reason. But overall, I think it's a pretty good build. I definitely would enjoy living here in survival. I would build this for myself, genuinely. I am really happy with how it turned out. Okay, well, that is the end of this video. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this build as much as I enjoyed building it. This build, I believe, will be put up on Patreon for free. So make sure to check it out on Patreon. It is patreon.com/voidcats. There is a bunch of builds there that I've done through the Build Bite series and also some through these long form videos. Obviously, if you enjoyed this build and any of the other videos that I have worked on, please make sure to like and subscribe. I am trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you could help me out, that would be amazing. If you would like, I guess, your challenge idea to like make it into these videos, make sure to comment down below. And yeah, chances are it'll happen. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what I should change about this video or what I could make, what I could do better. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing, lovely day. And thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.